Section 1. The Crash and Awakening. Pain. That's the first thing Emma registers. Not the kind of pain you get from a stubbed toe or a paper cut. This is the deep, bone-grinding kind that tells you something went very, very wrong. Her eyelids feel like they're made of sandpaper. She forces them open anyway. The ceiling above her is concrete. Raw, unpainted concrete with exposed pipes running across it like metal veins. A fluorescent light flickers somewhere to her left, throwing shadows that jump and twist across the rough surface. The bulb hums. Angry. Persistent. Where the hell is she? Emma tries to move and immediately regrets it. Her ribs scream in protest, her left shoulder feels like it's been hit with a sledgehammer, and there's a throbbing in her skull that makes her vision pulse with each heartbeat. She sucks in a breath, and that's when the smell hits her. Antiseptic. Sharp and chemical, the kind that burns the back of your throat. But underneath it, motor oil. Gasoline. Leather. It doesn't make sense. Hospitals don't smell like garage floors. She turns her head slowly, fighting through the dizziness, and the room comes into focus in pieces. Medical equipment. And 4 stand beside what looks like a makeshift hospital bed, the bed she's currently lying on. Stainless steel trays holding instruments that gleam under the stuttering light. Everything looks expensive. Professional. But it's all wrong. The walls are concrete block. There are no windows. And in the corner, half hidden in shadow, she sees motorcycle parts. A chrome exhaust pipe. A leather saddlebag. A helmet with a dark visor sitting on top of a crate. This isn't a hospital. This is someone's basement. Panic hits her like ice water. Her heart rate spikes. She can hear it in the monitor beside her, beeping faster, faster. She tries to sit up, but her body won't cooperate. Her arms feel heavy, disconnected. There's an .4 in her right hand, tape securing it, and when she looks down she sees she's wearing a hospital gown that definitely isn't hers. Where? Her voice comes out as a croak. Dry. Broken. Where am I? That's when she notices him. He's standing across the room with his back to her, broad shoulders filling out a set of dark blue scrubs. His hands move with precise efficiency, organizing instruments on a metal tray, but he doesn't turn around. Doesn't acknowledge that she's spoken. A leather jacket hangs on a chair beside him. Worn. Lived in. The kind of jacket that's seen miles of highway and probably a few fights. And his scrubs. God. There are stains on them. Dark rust-colored stains that she recognizes with a sickening clarity. Blood. Her blood. Who are you? Emma's voice is stronger now, edged with fear she's trying desperately to control. What is this place? He stills. His hands pause mid-motion, and for a long moment the only sound is the flickering hum of the fluorescent light and her own ragged breathing. When he finally speaks, his voice is deep. Calm. The kind of calm that emergency room doctors use when everything's falling apart, but they need you to hold it together. You're safe, he says without turning. For now. For now. Those 2 words land like stones in her chest. What does that mean? Safe for now implies that later, soon, she won't be. I don't. Emma's trying to piece it together, but her memory is a jigsaw puzzle with half the pieces missing. She remembers walking. It was late. She'd stayed too long at the coffee shop, working on her laptop, and decided to walk home instead of calling a rideshare because it was only 15 blocks and she'd wanted to clear her head. Then, headlights. Bright. Blinding. Coming fast. She'd turned. Started to run. But not fast enough. The impact. The moment her body left the ground. The taste of asphalt and copper. And then, nothing. Darkness. There was a car, she whispers, more to herself than to him. They hit me. It wasn't an accident. They aimed for me. He turns then, finally, and Emma's breath catches. He's probably in his early 40s, with a face that's seen too many long nights and hard decisions. Strong jaw shadowed with stubble. Dark hair that's slightly too long, like he hasn't had time for a haircut in months. But it's his eyes that hold her. Deep brown, almost black in the dim light, and tired. So tired. Yet his hands are steady as he walks toward her, and there's something about the way he moves, purposeful, controlled, that makes her think he's done this before. Whatever this is. "You need to stay still," he says, stopping beside her bed. His gaze sweeps over her, clinical and assessing, checking vitals without touching her. "You've got 3 cracked ribs, a concussion, and more bruises than I could count. You're lucky nothing's broken." "Lucky," Emma repeats, and it comes out bitter. "I got hit by a car." "You got hit by a message." His expression doesn't change. "And you're alive, which means they either wanted you scared or they're worse drivers than I thought. Either way, we don't have much time." "We?" He said we. "Time for what?" Emma asks, but even as the words leave her mouth, she's trying to sit up again. She needs to see more. Needs to understand where she is and who this man is and why he has a basement clinic that smells like a mechanic's shop. Her hands brace against the mattress and she pushes herself upward despite the screaming protest from her ribs. The room tilts violently, but she grits her teeth and forces herself vertical. That's when she sees it. There's a metal surgical tray on the table beside her bed, and in its polished surface she catches her reflection. Her face is a mess, split lip, bruise blooming across her left cheekbone, her blonde hair matted with dried blood. But that's not what makes her blood run cold. The hospital gown she's wearing is stained. Dark patches across the front and side that she'd assumed were her own blood from the accident. Except now, sitting up, she can see clearly. There's too much blood. And some of it, she can tell by the splatter pattern, by the way it's concentrated on the right side, some of it isn't hers at all. Someone else's blood is on her clothes. Emma's eyes snap to the man standing beside her bed. He's watching her carefully, and in his expression she sees confirmation. He knows she's just realized. "What did I see?" she whispers. "Before the car hit me, what did I see?" The fluorescent light flickers again. Once. Twice. The shadows dance. He reaches for the chair, pulls it closer, and sits down with the careful deliberation of someone delivering bad news they've delivered too many times before. "You need to stay awake," he says quietly, his dark eyes holding hers. "Because when the sun comes up, they're coming back for you." Section 2. The Truth Bomb. Emma stares at him, her pulse hammering against her temples. 2 nights ago. I can't remember 2 nights ago. You will. He leans back in the chair, and for the first time she notices the tattoos. They peek out from under his scrubs at the wrists, dark ink that disappears up his forearms. Not the trendy kind. These look older. Earned. Give it time. The concussion's scrambling things, but it'll come back. Usually does. Usually. Emma's voice sharpens. "How many people have you had down here?" "Enough." He doesn't elaborate. Instead, he reaches into his pocket and pulls out a phone. Her phone. The screen is spiderwebbed with cracks, the case scraped and dented. He'd recovered it from the scene. From the place where she'd been left for dead. He taps the screen a few times, then turns it toward her. "You need to see this." The video is shaky. Dark. It takes Emma a moment to orient herself to what she's looking at. The phone was in her hand, pointing down at the ground mostly, catching fragments of concrete and her own feet as she walked. There's no sound, or maybe the microphone was damaged, but she can see timestamps in the corner. 2 nights ago. 11:47 p.m. "I don't remember filming this," she whispers. "You didn't mean to." His voice is matter-of-fact. Clinical. But there's something underneath it. Tension. "Your phone was in your hand. You must have bumped the camera app. Happens more than you'd think." On screen, her footsteps pause. The camera swings up slightly and suddenly there's context. She's in an alley. Narrow. The kind of space between warehouses where the streetlights don't quite reach. She can see dumpsters, a chain-link fence in the background. And 2 men. They're arguing. Even without sound, Emma can tell from their body language. Sharp gestures. Aggressive postures. One of them is bigger, wearing what looks like a dark jacket. The other is thinner, backing away with his hands raised. Pleading. Then the bigger man reaches behind his back. "No," Emma breathes. The gun comes up. Fast. Professional. There's a muzzle flash that whites out the camera for a split second, and when the image clears, the thin man is on the ground. Not moving. The shooter stands there for a moment, looking down at what he's done, and then he turns. The angle is wrong. Emma's phone was pointed too low, but she catches a glimpse of his face in profile before the video jerks violently. Her past self must have realized what she'd just witnessed. Started running. The video cuts to chaos. Blurred images. The ground rushing past. Heavy breathing she can't hear but can imagine. And then it cuts out entirely. Emma can't breathe. The room feels too small, the walls pressing in. Her hands are shaking and she curls them into fists to hide it. I saw someone die. It's not a question. It's her voice saying the impossible truth out loud, trying to make it real. I saw someone get murdered and I ran and they came after me. Not right away. The man takes the phone back, pockets it. You made it home that night. But they got your plate number from a security camera near the alley. Tracked your car. Found out where you live. The pieces are clicking into place now, sharp and terrible. Emma closes her eyes and suddenly she can see it. Walking to her car 2 nights ago after her shift at the coffee shop. That strange feeling of being watched. Dismissing it as paranoia because the parking lot was well lit and she was tired. Getting home safe. Locking her door. Going to bed. Then last night. Was it last night? Time is slippery. Walking home again, and this time the headlights. The engine roaring. The deliberate swerve toward the sidewalk. Toward her. How do you know all this? Emma's eyes snap open, and now the fear is giving way to something else. Anger. Hot and clarifying. Who are you? Why do you have my phone and my blood all over your scrubs and a secret hospital in your basement? For the first time, something like respect flickers across his face. Good. She's not falling apart. She's fighting. My name's Marcus, he says. Dr. Marcus Chen. And I know all this because I was there too. Different reason, same place. You were in that alley. About a block away. I saw the shooter leave. Saw you run. He pauses, weighing how much to tell her. I found the body 10 minutes later. Called it in anonymously. Stayed long enough to make sure someone was coming, then I left. Why? Emma demands. Why not stay? Why not tell them what you saw? Because I couldn't be sure who I'd be telling. Marcus stands, walks to a small sink in the corner and starts washing his hands. The ritual of it seems automatic. Practiced. This city's got a lot of good cops. But it's also got enough bad ones that you learn to be careful. Especially in my neighborhood. That doesn't explain. The man in that video? Marcus turns, water dripping from his hands. His eyes are hard now. Flint. The shooter. I got a better look at his face than you did. I recognized him. Emma's stomach drops. Who is he? Detective Raymond Carver. 17 years on the force. Decorated. Connected. Marcus dries his hands on a towel, his movements sharp with suppressed anger. He's also been running protection for one of the biggest drug operations in the East District for the last 5 years. I've been documenting it. Building a case. But I'm not a cop and I'm not a lawyer, so all I've got is suspicion and circumstantial evidence. Until now. Emma's voice is barely a whisper. Until me. Until this video. Until you became the only witness to Detective Carver committing murder. Marcus crosses his arms, and she can see the ink on his forearms clearly now. One tattoo looks like coordinates. Another is a medical caduceus wrapped in thorns. Which is why you can't go to the police. At least half the precinct would bury this before you made it out of the station. And the other half wouldn't be able to protect you from the half that wouldn't. The fluorescent light flickers again. Emma becomes aware of sounds she hadn't noticed before, a distant rumble that might be traffic, the hum of what sounds like a ventilation system. They're underground. Truly underground. Hidden. So what am I supposed to do? The anger in her voice cracks, and she hates herself for it. Just hide down here forever? Let them win. No. Marcus walks to the wall behind her. She hadn't been able to see it from her angle on the bed, and flips on another light. The wall is covered in newspaper clippings. Photographs. Printed articles. Red string connecting some of them like a conspiracy theorist's fever dream, except this isn't theory. This is documented fact. Headlines jump out at her: local woman missing, police have no leads. Witness recants testimony in brutal assault case. East District crime rate continues to rise despite increased police presence. And photographs. So many photographs. People who look scared, hurt, lost. People Marcus helped. By day, I'm a trauma surgeon at County General, Marcus says quietly, staring at his wall of evidence. I fix what violence breaks. But at night. He trails off, then turns to face her fully. At night, I patrol the neighborhoods the system forgot. The places where calling 911 is a joke because help never comes, or worse, the wrong kind of help shows up. You're a vigilante. Emma doesn't mean it as an accusation, just a statement of fact. I'm a doctor who got tired of treating the same people for the same violence caused by the same people who are supposed to protect them. His jaw tightens. This clinic is my middle ground. The place where I bring people who can't go to a hospital because they're undocumented, or wanted, or terrified of who might be waiting for them in the ER. I patch them up. I don't ask questions. And I sure as hell don't call cops who might be on Carver's payroll. The weight of it settles over Emma like a heavy blanket. She's not just a witness to a murder. She's a witness to a murder committed by someone with the power to make witnesses disappear. And the only person standing between her and that fate is a vigilante doctor with a basement clinic and a wall full of victims he couldn't save through official channels. It's insane. It's also the truth. Marcus moves closer, and when he speaks again, his voice is different. Softer but somehow more intense. The voice of someone offering a life raft to a drowning person. You have two choices, Emma. I can patch you up, give you some cash, and send you out there alone. You can run. Change your name. Disappear. Hope they don't find you. He pauses, letting that sink in. Or. The silence stretches. Or. Emma prompts, even though part of her is terrified of what comes next. Marcus's dark eyes hold hers, and in them she sees exhaustion and determination and something that might be hope. You can let me teach you how to survive what's coming. Section 3. The Dual Life Montage. Emma's ribs are screaming at her, but she's not backing down. I'm coming with you, she says for the third time, gripping the edge of the examination table to stay upright. It's been 2 days since she woke up in Marcus's clinic, and she can barely make it across the room without her vision tunneling, but she'll be damned if she's going to spend another day staring at concrete walls. Marcus doesn't even look up from the coffee he's making, strong and black, the way she's learned he always takes it. You can barely stand. I can stand fine. You're literally swaying right now. She is. She stops. I need to see who you are. The real you. Not just. She gestures around the basement clinic. This. That makes him pause. He turns, studies her with those dark, assessing eyes that she's starting to realize miss absolutely nothing. Then he sighs, the sound of a man who knows he's already lost the argument. You stay in the car, he says. You don't move. You don't talk to anyone. And if you pass out, I'm not carrying you back down those stairs. Emma manages a smile despite the pain. Deal. County General Hospital is chaos wrapped in fluorescent lighting and hand sanitizer. Emma sits in Marcus's beat-up Honda in the parking garage, watching through the windshield as early morning staff filters in for shift change. Nurses in scrubs patterned with cartoon characters. Doctors with ID badges clipped to white coats. A whole ecosystem she's never paid attention to before. She'd promised to stay in the car. She lasts about 15 minutes. The hospital cafeteria is on the first floor, visible through large windows that face the parking garage. Emma makes her way there slowly, one hand pressed against her ribs, the other trailing along the wall for balance. She buys a coffee she doesn't want and finds a seat where she can see into the trauma bay beyond the reception area. And there he is. Dr. Marcus Chen looks different here. His scrubs are clean, navy blue instead of the blood-stained ones from the clinic. He's wearing a white coat that actually fits him, stethoscope around his neck like it belongs there. His hair is combed back. Professional. Put together. But it's his hands she watches. A trauma case comes in. She can tell from the organized chaos, the way staff mobilizes like a well-rehearsed dance. Marcus is at the center of it, his hands moving with absolute precision. Starting in 4. Palpating the patient's abdomen. Calling out orders that the nurses follow without question. There's no hesitation. No wasted movement. These are the same hands that stitched her shoulder 2 nights ago in a basement lit by a flickering fluorescent bulb. The same hands that VE saved God knows how many people in places that don't show up in any hospital records. A young resident approaches Marcus, nervous, holding an X-ray up to the light. Marcus looks at it, says something Emma can't hear, and the resident's shoulders relax. Marcus claps him on the shoulder, encouraging, not condescending, and the kid practically glows. They respect him here. Really respect him. Marcus turns then, scanning the trauma bay, and his gaze lands directly on Emma through the window. Even from this distance, she can see his expression shift. Not anger, exactly. Something closer to exasperation mixed with reluctant amusement. He caught her staring. Emma raises her coffee cup in a small salute. His mouth twitches. Almost a smile. Then he's back to his patient, and she's left wondering what it means that seeing him like this, competent and respected and saving lives in the daylight, makes her chest feel tight in a way that has nothing to do with cracked ribs. The apartment above the clinic is small. Spartan. 1 bedroom, a kitchen that looks barely used, a living room with a couch that's seen better days, and a coffee table covered in medical journals and case files. Emma's been staying here for 3 days now, sleeping on that couch, and she's learned things about Marcus Chen that he'd never tell her directly. He takes his coffee black at 3 a.m. when he can't sleep. He keeps the thermostat at exactly 68 degrees. He owns 7 leather jackets but only seems to wear 2 of them. And every night around 11, she hears the motorcycle. Tonight, she's ready. Emma's been healing faster than Marcus expected. He'd said as much this morning when he checked her stitches. The bruises are fading from purple to yellow-green. Her ribs still ache, but the sharp, stabbing pain has dulled to a persistent throb. She can move without feeling like she's going to shatter. She hears him in the garage below. The rumble of an engine turning over. Deep. Powerful. Not the Honda he drives to the hospital, but something else entirely. Emma moves to the window, watches as the garage door rolls up. Marcus emerges on a black Harley, wearing dark jeans, boots, and one of those well-worn leather jackets. No helmet. His face is set in hard lines, and he looks nothing like the gentle doctor who encouraged that nervous resident this morning. He looks dangerous. He rides out into the night, and Emma makes a decision she knows is probably stupid. The garage has 3 more bikes. She'd noticed them earlier, lined up like sleeping beasts. One of them, a smaller Honda Shadow, has keys hanging from the ignition. Emma's only ridden a motorcycle once, on a friend's bike in college, and she'd been terrible at it. But desperation makes you brave or stupid, and right now she's willing to be both. The bike coughs to life with a sound that's way louder than she'd hoped. The muffler's definitely not right. There's a rattling that echoes off the garage walls. But she's committed now. She follows him. It's not graceful. She nearly drops the bike twice at stop signs, and she's pretty sure she's breaking at least a dozen traffic laws. But she manages to keep Marcus's taillights in view as he weaves through the East District, heading into neighborhoods where the streetlights are sparse and the buildings lean into each other like drunken friends. He slows, parks in an alley behind what looks like an abandoned liquor store. Emma kills her engine half a block away, concealed behind a dumpster, and watches. At first, nothing happens. Marcus just stands there, leaning against his bike, and Emma wonders if she's completely misread this whole thing. Then she hears it. A woman's voice. Sharp with fear. I said leave me alone. Marcus moves. Emma can barely track him as he rounds the corner into the main street. She abandons the bike, follows on foot, her ribs protesting every quick step. By the time she reaches the corner, Marcus is already there. 2 men have cornered a woman against a closed storefront. One of them has a knife. The woman's purse is on the ground, contents spilled across the sidewalk. Walk away, Marcus says. His voice is low. Come. But there's steel underneath it. The guy with the knife laughs. Or what, hero? You gonna? He doesn't get to finish. Marcus doesn't go for the knife. That's what surprises Emma. He goes for the wrist, twisting it at an angle that makes the man yelp and drop the weapon. Then he sweeps the guy's legs, putting him on the pavement in under 3 seconds. The second man tries to run. Marcus lets him. "You okay?" he asks the woman, already picking up her scattered belongings. Her wallet. Her phone. A lipstick that rolled into the gutter. She's staring at him like he's an angel or a ghost. Yes. Thank you. God, thank you. In the distance, sirens start to wail. Marcus presses the purse into her hands. Go home. Different route than usual. And carry pepper spray. Then he's back on his bike, and he's gone before the flashing lights even round the corner. Emma stands there in the shadows, her heart pounding, understanding something fundamental about Marcus Chen. This isn't about violence for him. This isn't about being a hero or living out some vigilante fantasy. It's about protection. Simple and pure. About being there when the system isn't. She makes it back to her borrowed bike, is trying to figure out how to start it quietly, when she hears another engine. Marcus pulls up beside her, cutting his lights. They sit there in the darkness for a long moment. Then he says, "If you're going to tail someone, don't use the bike with the broken muffler." Emma looks over at him. He's not angry. He's smiling. Actually smiling, the first real smile she's seen from him, and it transforms his whole face, makes him look younger, less burdened. She can't help it. She smiles back. Noted for next time. Next time, he repeats, shaking his head. Come on. Let's get you home before you break something else. The almost moment happens on day 6. Emma's shoulder wound has been bothering her. The stitches pull when she moves wrong, and she must have torn something because it started bleeding again, just a little. She finds Marcus in the kitchen at 2 a.m., drinking his black coffee, looking exhausted after a double shift. "Can you look at this?" she asks, pulling her sleeve aside. He sets down his mug. "Sit." She sits at the kitchen table. He pulls his chair close, angles the lamp so he can see. His fingers are gentle as he peels back the bandage, examining the wound with clinical precision. "You've been moving too much," he says quietly. "I've been healing. You've been following me on motorcycles you barely know how to ride." But there's no accusation in it. Just fact. Maybe even fondness. He reaches for fresh gauze, antiseptic. Emma watches his face as he works, the concentration, the care. He's so close she can see the flecks of gold in his dark eyes, can smell the coffee on his breath mixed with something that's just him. Leather and antiseptic and something warm underneath. Their eyes meet. The air shifts. His fingers slow on her shoulder, and she realizes he's not just cleaning the wound anymore. He's touching her. Carefully. Like she's something precious that might break. "Emma," he starts, and his voice has gone rough. His phone rings. The moment shatters. Marcus pulls back like he's been burned, reaching for his phone. His jaw tightens as he reads the screen. Mass casualty. I have to go. He's out the door in under 2 minutes, and Emma sits there in the kitchen, her shoulder half bandaged, wondering what he was about to say. Wondering what she was about to do. She finds it the next morning, while Marcus is still at the hospital. A photograph. Slipped under the clinic door sometime during the night. Emma picks it up with shaking hands. It's her and Marcus. Yesterday. In the hospital cafeteria. She's sitting by the window holding that coffee cup, and he's visible through the glass in the trauma bay, looking right at her. Someone was watching. Someone knows. Her phone, the one Marcus returned to her, buzzes with a text from an unknown number. "Pretty doctor can't protect you forever. Neither can his little basement hideout." Emma's blood runs cold. She's still staring at the message when she hears Marcus's footsteps on the stairs. He looks exhausted, his scrubs rumpled, but he stops when he sees her face. What happened? She hands him the photo. Marcus studies it, and she watches something dangerous flash across his features. He crumples the photo in his fist, then meets her eyes. "The men from the video made their first move today," he says quietly. "They know you're alive. And they know you're with me." Section 4. Training and Transformation. Hit me. Emma stares at Marcus like he's lost his mind. They're standing in the garage, her temporary prison, his secret headquarters, and he's just handed her a set of boxing raps like it's the most natural thing in the world. "I'm not going to hit you," she says. "Then you're going to die." He says it matter-of-factly, the way he might tell her she needs antibiotics for an infection. You want to survive? Stop relying on me. The words sting, which is probably the point. Emma's been hiding behind Marcus for over a week now, letting him be the wall between her and Detective Carver's people. But that photo changed something. Made it real in a way the initial threat hadn't. They know where she is. And walls don't hold forever. I don't know how to fight, Emma admits, hating how small her voice sounds. I know. That's why we're starting now. Marcus holds up his hands, palms out. Hit me. Right here. Put your weight behind it. She tries. It's pathetic. Her fist connects with his palm with all the force of an annoyed cat. Marcus doesn't laugh, but she can see the flicker of amusement in his eyes. Again. This time, pretend my hand is the windshield of the car that hit you. That works better. The punch lands hard enough that the impact rattles up her arm. Marcus nods. Good. Again. They spend the next hour like that. The garage becomes their dojo, medical equipment shoved to the sides to make space. He teaches her to punch properly, how to make a fist without breaking her thumb, how to pivot from her hips, how to aim for soft targets. You'll never overpower them, Marcus says, circling her like a predator studying prey. Most men have 40 pounds on you, more muscle mass, more reach. So you don't try to overpower them. You outthink them. He grabs a metal 4-pole, shows her how to use it as a weapon. Where to strike, knees, throat, temple. How to create distance. How to run when running is the smartest option. Emma's bruised. Exhausted. Her ribs are protesting every movement, and she's pretty sure she's reopened the cut on her shoulder. But when Marcus says they're done for the day, she shakes her head. Again. He stops. Studies her. And in his eyes she sees something shift. Recognition, maybe. Like he's seeing a reflection of himself in her stubbornness. Okay, he says quietly. Again. They're sitting on the roof of the building 3 nights later, the city sprawled out below them like a circuit board of lights. Emma's knuckles are wrapped in tape, her muscles ache in ways she didn't know were possible, but she feels different. Stronger. Not physically, not yet, but mentally. She's not helpless anymore. Why do you do this? She asks, breaking the comfortable silence. The vigilante thing. There's got to be a reason beyond just, the system's broken. Marcus is quiet for so long she thinks he's not going to answer. Then he says, I had a sister. Younger. Maya. Had. Past tense. Emma doesn't push, just waits. She was walking home from work. Night shift at a diner in the East District. Got grabbed by 3 guys who thought, his jaw tightens. Doesn't matter what they thought. She fought back. One of them had a knife. Oh God. I was still in med school, Marcus continues, his voice flat in the way people get when they're talking about trauma they've buried deep. Got the call at 2 a.m. Raced to County General. She'd already been there for an hour, bleeding out while they tried to stabilize her. I held her hand while she died. Emma's throat closes. Marcus. They caught the guys, he says. All 3. Solid evidence. Multiple witnesses. Should have been open and shut. But 2 of them had family connections to a city councilman. The 3rd was dating a cop's daughter. Charges got reduced. Plea deals. They served 18 months between the 3 of them. That's not justice. No, it's not. Marcus looks at her then, and his eyes are haunted. So I became my own justice. Finished med school. Did my residency. Became the best trauma surgeon I could be. And at night, I make sure Maya's story doesn't happen to someone else. Emma reaches over, finds his hand in the darkness. His fingers close around hers, strong and warm and solid. I'm sorry, she whispers. Don't be sorry. Just don't waste the chance you've got. He squeezes her hand. You're still alive, Emma. That's more than Maya got. More than a lot of people get. So what are you going to do with it? It's a good question. One she's been avoiding. Honestly. Emma laughs, but it's bitter. I was walking alone that night because I was running from a life that felt too small. Dead-end job at a coffee shop. Studio apartment I could barely afford. No real friends, no relationship, no plan. I wanted more, but I had no idea what more looked like. And now I've got more than I bargained for." She gestures at the city, at the basement clinic below them, at this whole impossible situation. "But at least it's not small." Marcus actually laughs at that. A real laugh, rough and surprised. That's one way to look at it. They sit there in the comfortable silence, hands still linked, until Emma says, "You told me you don't let people in." "Why?" His thumb traces circles on the back of her hand. An absent gesture, or maybe not so absent. "Because everyone I care about becomes a target. The cops who want me to stop interfering. The criminals who want revenge. The system that doesn't like people who operate outside it." He pauses. "I can't protect people and be close to them at the same time. Not in this life." Emma turns to face him fully. "I'm already a target, Marcus. At least this way I'm not alone." Something cracks in his expression. The walls he keeps so carefully maintained. She can see him wrestling with it, the desire to pull her closer warring with the instinct to push her away for her own safety. "Emma, I'm not asking for promises," she says quietly. "I'm just saying I'm here. And I'm not going anywhere." The kiss happens 2 days later. They've been training hard. Emma's getting faster, smarter, more confident. Today she managed to disarm Marcus when he came at her with a practice knife, using a move he'd taught her 3 sessions ago. His proud smile made her feel like she'd won an Olympic medal. But she'd also split her knuckle open on the garage's concrete wall. Not badly, but enough to bleed. Now they're in the clinic, Marcus cleaning the wound with the gentle precision she's come to expect from him. His fingers are careful on her hand, turning it toward the light, dabbing antiseptic on the cut. "You're getting good at this," he says softly. "At all of it. I have a good teacher." He looks up at her, and they're close. So close. She can count his eyelashes, see the stubble on his jaw, feel the warmth radiating from his body. This time, there's no phone to interrupt them. Emma doesn't know who moves first. Maybe it doesn't matter. His lips meet hers, and it's not dramatic or movie perfect. It's just real. Gentle. His hand comes up to cup her face, and she leans into the touch, into him. When they break apart, he rests his forehead against hers. "This is a terrible idea," he murmurs. "Probably," Emma agrees. "Do you care?" "Not even a little bit." He kisses her again, deeper this time, and Emma lets herself have this. Just for a moment. Just for now. "Show me what you've got." It's been 2 weeks since Emma woke up in Marcus's clinic. 2 weeks of training, healing, learning to be someone she never thought she could be. And now Marcus is watching her with arms crossed, waiting. Emma doesn't hesitate. She moves through the sequence they've practiced, attack patterns, defensive maneuvers, using her environment. She feints left, grabs the 4-pole, swings it in a controlled arc that would have connected with Marcus's temple if he hadn't blocked it. Then she drops low, sweeps his legs. He goes down, but he's grinning. "Not bad," he says, accepting her offered hand to pull him up. "Not bad at all." Emma can see it in his eyes. Genuine pride. Maybe even a little bit of awe. She's not the terrified woman he scraped off the pavement anymore. "I have an idea," Emma says, before she can second-guess herself. "Instead of hiding, we go on offense." Marcus's expression shifts. "Emma, hear me out." She starts pacing, the way she does when she's thinking through a problem. "They know I'm alive. They know I'm with you. They're going to keep coming. So why wait? Why let them choose the time and place? Because baiting a corrupt cop and his crew is suicide." "Is it?" Emma stops, faces him. "They want me because I'm a witness. They think I'm weak. Scared. Easy to eliminate. What if we use that? What if we let them think they've found me, draw them out, and catch them on camera doing something they can't explain away?" She can see him processing it. The tactical part of his brain engaging. "We'd need backup," Marcus says slowly. "Real backup. Someone we can trust." "Do you have someone?" "Maybe. A reporter I've worked with before. She's done stories on police corruption. If we can get her evidence, actual footage of Carver or his people coming after you." He trails off, thinking, "It could work. So we do it." Marcus looks at her for a long moment. Then he says, "You're not the same woman who woke up in my clinic." "No," Emma agrees. "I'm not. So stop treating me like I am." He crosses to her, tilts her chin up with gentle fingers. "You're sure about this?" "I'm sure I'm tired of running. I'm sure I'm tired of being scared. And I'm sure that if we do this together, we have a chance." Marcus kisses her, quick and fierce. "Okay. We go on offense. Tomorrow night." They spend the rest of the day planning. Logistics. Contingencies. Where to set the trap. How to make sure Emma's covered. What to do if things go sideways. It's late, past midnight, when Marcus's pager goes off. He checks it, and his expression darkens. Mass casualty event. Chemical plant explosion. All hands on deck. "You have to go," Emma says, even though her stomach drops. "I don't want to leave you alone. I can handle it. I'm not helpless anymore, remember?" She manages a smile. "Besides, the trap isn't until tomorrow night. I'll be fine for a few hours." Marcus hesitates, torn between duty and protection. Then he grabs his keys, his jacket. "Lock everything. Don't open the door for anyone. I'll call you when I can." "Go save lives," Dr. Chen realizes the real ambush is coming from a completely different direction. And it's coming right now. "Go save lives, Dr. Chen." He kisses her one more time, and then he's gone, his footsteps echoing up the stairs. Emma locks the door behind him, checks the windows, sets her phone on the table, and doesn't see the shadow moving in the alley outside. The trap is set for tomorrow night. But neither of them realizes the real ambush is coming from a completely different direction. And it's coming right now. Section 5. The Siege. Emma hears the motorcycles at 2 a.m. Not one engine. 3. Maybe 4. The sound is different from Marcus's Harley, higher-pitched, angrier. They're not trying to be quiet. Her blood turns to ice. She's alone. Marcus is at County General, elbow-deep in surgery, saving victims from a chemical plant explosion. And she's here, in a basement clinic that suddenly feels less like a fortress and more like a tomb. The engines cut out. Silence. Then footsteps. Heavy boots on concrete. Emma's phone is in her hand before she consciously decides to grab it. She texts Marcus with shaking fingers. "They're here." No response. He's in surgery. He can't check his phone. She's on her own. Run or fight. 2 weeks ago, she would have run. Hidden in a closet or tried to slip out a back exit. But Emma's not who she was 2 weeks ago. Marcus taught her that fear is just information. It tells you the stakes are high, but it doesn't get to make your decisions. She fights. The garage door rattles. Someone's trying to force it open. Emma moves fast, grabbing the 4-pole she's used in training. Not much of a weapon, but better than nothing. She positions herself behind the examination table, using it for cover, giving herself angles. The door crashes open. 3 men. No, 4. They're not wearing police uniforms, but Emma recognizes the type, hired muscle. The kind of guys who don't ask questions, just follow orders. The first one through the door is massive, probably 6'3", with a shaved head and a gun already drawn. "There she is," he says, and his smile makes Emma's skin crawl. "The little witness. Carver said you'd be here." Emma doesn't waste breath on words. She throws the metal tray from the examination table like a frisbee. It catches Shaved Head in the face, not enough to take him down, but enough to make him stumble, curse, his aim going wild. She's already moving. The 4-pole swings, connects with the second guy's knee. He goes down hard, screaming. Emma learned that from Marcus. Knees are fragile, easy to destroy. Take out their mobility and they're not threats anymore. But there are still 3 of them and 1 of her. The third guy rushes her. Emma sidesteps, uses his momentum against him, shoves him into the medical equipment. He crashes into the defibrillator cart and she doesn't think, just acts. Grabs the paddles, hits the charge button. "Clear," she says, and presses them to his chest. The man convulses, drops like a puppet with cut strings. 2 down. But Shaved Head has recovered, and the fourth guy, wiry, faster than the others, is circling around to cut off her escape route. Emma's breathing hard, her ribs screaming, the split-knuckle Marcus bandaged yesterday bleeding again. "You're tougher than you look," Shaved Head says, wiping blood from his nose. "But you're done." He raises the gun. Emma dives behind the concrete support pillar as the shot rings out. The bullet chips concrete inches from her head, dust exploding into her eyes. She can't see, can't breathe. This is it. This is how it ends. Then she hears another motorcycle. The engine roar is familiar. Marcus's Harley. The garage door is still open, and he comes through it like an avenging angel, bike still moving as he launches himself off it. His leather jacket flares out behind him, and Emma sees the flash of metal in his hand. Not a gun. A crowbar. He takes out the wiry guy first, one brutal swing that connects with the man's ribs. The sound is sickening. Then Marcus is on Shaved Head, moving with a precision that's terrifying to watch. This isn't the gentle doctor who patches wounds. This is the vigilante who's been protecting these streets for years. Shaved Head fires. Once. Twice. Marcus doesn't slow down. He disarms the man, puts him on the ground, zip-ties his wrists with the efficiency of someone who's done this 100 times. The other 3 are down, groaning or unconscious. It's over in under a minute. "Emma," Marcus says, turning to her. "Are you?" He sways. That's when Emma sees the blood. Not on his hands from the fight. On his side, soaking through his shirt, dripping onto the concrete floor. "Marcus!" She catches him as he drops to one knee. His face has gone pale, lips pressed tight against pain. When she pulls his jacket aside, she sees the bullet wound, high on his left side, just under the ribs. "How long?" Emma's voice cracks. "How long have you been shot?" "Hospital," he says through gritted teeth. "Stray round during the initial chaos. Grazed me. Thought I could," he gasps. "Thought I could handle it. Adrenaline." He'd been running on pure adrenaline, ignoring the wound, racing here when he got her text. And now the adrenaline is crashing, and he's crashing with it. Okay, we need to get you help. I'll call." "No time." Marcus grabs her wrist, his grip weak but desperate. "Sirens." "Hear them." Emma does. Multiple sirens, getting closer. But are they help or more of Carver's people? There's no way to know. "You need to operate," Marcus says. "No." Emma's world tilts. "I'm not a doctor. I can't." "Yes, you can." His dark eyes hold hers, and even bleeding out he's steady. "Certain. I'll talk you through it. Everything I taught you. Precision. Calm under pressure. You've got this. Marcus." "Emma." He squeezes her wrist. "I trust you." Those 3 words break something open in her chest. And suddenly her hands aren't shaking anymore. She moves. Gets him onto the examination table. Cuts away his shirt, exposing the wound. It's bad, bleeding steadily, the bullet still inside. She needs to stop the bleeding, extract the bullet, close the wound. Basic field surgery. Marcus has done it 100 times in this clinic. Now it's her turn. "Gloves," Marcus says, his voice already fading. "Cabinet. And the local anesthetic. Left drawer." Emma follows instructions like they're a lifeline. Snaps on the gloves. Fills the syringe with anesthetic. Her hands are steady now, muscle memory from watching Marcus work taking over. "Inject around the wound site," he tells her. "Small amounts. Make a circle." She does. He doesn't even flinch. The sirens are closer now. Voices outside. Emma doesn't know if she has 2 minutes or 10, but she works like she has all the time in the world. Slow is smooth. Smooth is fast. Marcus taught her that. "Scalpel," he whispers. "Widen the entry. You need to see the bullet." Emma cuts. Blood wells up and she uses gauze to dab it away, keeping her field of vision clear. Her hands remember Marcus's hands, the way he moved when he stitched her shoulder that first night. Confident. Precise. She can see the bullet, lodged against a rib. "Forceps," Marcus says. His eyes are closed now, his breathing shallow. Straight in. Don't hesitate. She doesn't hesitate. The forceps close around the bullet. She pulls, gentle but firm, and it comes free with a wet sound that makes her stomach turn. But she doesn't stop. Doesn't panic. Pressure, Marcus murmurs. Stop the bleeding first. Gauze. Lots of it. Direct pressure on the wound. Emma counts to 60, then checks. The bleeding has slowed to a seep. Sutures. Internal first, then external. I'll tell you. But he's fading. His voice trails off, and Emma realizes she's on her own for this part. She thinks about every time she watched Marcus work. The pattern of his stitches. The tension he maintained. The way he tied off each knot. Her hands know what to do. She works in the growing sound of sirens and shouting. Someone's pounding on the garage door now, but Emma doesn't stop. 1 stitch. 2. 3. Internal layer done. External layer next. The stitches aren't pretty. They're not perfect. But they hold. She ties off the final knot just as the door bursts open. Emma looks up, ready to fight again if she has to, but the people flooding in are wearing EMT uniforms. Real ones. And behind them, a woman Emma's never met but recognizes from the photos on Marcus's wall, the reporter. She's holding a camera, and she's filming everything. The men Marcus zip-tied. The evidence of the break-in. Emma standing over Marcus's unconscious form, covered in his blood, having just saved his life. Got it, the reporter says grimly. All of it. The hospital room is quiet. Emma sits beside Marcus's bed, watching the steady rise and fall of his chest. He's been unconscious for 18 hours, recovering from surgery, real surgery, performed by his colleagues who worked on him with desperate precision. She hasn't left his side. The door opens. A detective enters, but not Carver. This one is older, female, with kind eyes and a badge that reads, Captain. She introduces herself as Captain Rosa Martinez. The footage from the clinic, Martinez says without preamble, combined with the evidence Dr. Chen had been gathering, and the testimony from the men who attacked you, we arrested Detective Carver this morning. The DA's filing charges. Murder. Conspiracy. Attempted murder. He's done. Emma's throat tightens. It's over. The immediate threat. Yes. There'll be trials, more investigation, but you're safe now. Martinez pauses. Dr. Chen's been doing this for a long time. Helping people we couldn't help through official channels. I've known about it for years. Looked the other way because he was doing good work. But this. She gestures at Marcus's unconscious form. This is what happens when you fight alone for too long. He wasn't alone, Emma says quietly. Not at the end. Martinez smiles. No. He wasn't. She heads for the door, then stops. For what it's worth. The surgery you performed kept him alive. The EMTs said another 5 minutes and he would have bled out. You saved him. When Martinez leaves, Emma reaches over and takes Marcus's hand. His fingers are cool, but his pulse is strong under her thumb. What happens when you heal? She whispers to his sleeping form. His eyes flutter open. Barely. But enough. I don't know, Marcus says, his voice rough from intubation. What do you want to happen? Emma's vision blurs with tears she's been holding back for hours. I want you to keep saving people. I want to help you do it. And I want you to stop trying to do everything alone. His fingers squeeze hers weakly. That last part might take practice. Good thing I'm a quick learner. He almost smiles. Then his eyes close again, and he's back under, but Emma can see the tension has left his face. He's not carrying everything by himself anymore. She stays there, holding his hand, until the sun comes up. 3 months later. Emma pulls up to the building on Marcus's Harley. He's teaching her to ride properly now, no more broken mufflers. The neighborhood is the same, but the building looks different. The clinic entrance has a new sign. Free clinic, no questions asked. It's official now. Legal. Captain Martinez helped cut through the red tape, and a non-profit foundation funded by an anonymous donor, Emma suspects it's the reporter who broke the Carver story, covers the operating costs. Marcus is inside, stitching up a kid who fell off his skateboard. Emma can hear his voice through the open door, calm and reassuring, the same voice that talked her through saving his life. She's enrolled in EMT courses now. In a year, she'll be certified. In 2, maybe she'll apply to nursing school. She's got plans. Purpose. A life that doesn't feel small anymore. Marcus looks up as she enters, and his whole face transforms with a smile that's just for her. "Ready?" he asks. "Always," Emma says. They've got a patrol tonight. Together. The neighborhood watch that actually watches out for the people who live here. Emma's not the woman who woke up terrified in this clinic 3 months ago. She's the woman who fought back. Who saved the man who saved her. Who chose to stay and build something bigger than survival. She's exactly who she was always meant to be. And this is just the beginning. Section 6. Epilogue and Emotional Payoff. The clinic opens at 6 p.m. now. Emma unlocks the door, flips the sign from closed to open, and immediately there are people waiting. Mrs. Rodriguez with her daughter who needs stitches from a playground accident. Tommy Chen, no relation to Marcus, just coincidence, who twisted his ankle playing basketball and can't afford the ER copay. A young woman Emma doesn't recognize, nervous, whispering that she needs help but can't say why out loud. Emma knows that look. She wore it herself once. "Come on back," she says gently, and the woman's shoulders sag with relief. Marcus is already in the exam room, reviewing charts. He's been back at County General for 2 months now, working reduced hours so he can staff the clinic in the evenings. The hospital administration turned a blind eye to his vigilante activities once the Carver case broke. Hard to discipline a surgeon for saving people, even if his methods were unorthodox. Plus, the PR was incredible. Hero doctor takes down corrupt cop, played a lot better than Hospital Harbor's vigilante. "Mrs. Rodriguez is in room 1, Emma tells him. "I'll handle the intake for the walk-in." He looks up, and there's that smile again. The one that still makes her stomach flip even after 3 months of seeing it daily. "You're getting good at this. I have a good teacher." It's become their thing. The call and response that started as truth and evolved into something warmer. Affectionate. Theirs. Emma's EMT courses are going well. She's top of her class in trauma response, which makes sense given she's had more real-world experience than most of her instructors. Marcus quizzes her while they eat takeout at 2 a.m., throwing hypothetical scenarios at her until she can recite treatment protocols in her sleep. But it's not just about the medicine anymore. People come to the clinic because of her now too. The women especially. They've heard about the girl who fought back, who survived, who turned her terror into purpose. Emma's become something she never expected, a symbol. Proof that you can be broken and put yourself back together into something stronger. She finishes the intake with a nervous woman, domestic violence situation, needs a safe place to stay, and connects her with a shelter Marcus has worked with before. The woman leaves with a card, a prescription for antibiotics for an untreated infection, and something that looks almost like hope. It's nearly midnight when the last patient leaves. Marcus is cleaning the exam room, Emma's restocking supplies, and the comfortable silence between them feels like coming home. They work in tandem now, anticipating each other's movements, a partnership that extends far beyond the clinic walls. "Coffee?" Emma asks, though she already knows the answer. "Black," Marcus confirms. She makes 2 cups, his black, hers with cream and sugar, and finds him on the roof. Their spot. The place where he first told her about Maya, where she first understood that his crusade wasn't about violence but about filling the gaps the system left behind. They sit shoulder to shoulder, watching the city breathe. "Remember when you said everyone you care about becomes a target?" Emma says, breaking the silence. "I remember you telling me you were already a target." "Yeah, well." She takes a sip of coffee. Turns out being a target's not so bad when you know how to fight back. Marcus turns to her, and his expression is soft in the way it only gets when they're alone. "You didn't just survive, Emma. You became someone I need." Her heart does that stupid fluttering thing it always does when he's honest like this. Raw. Vulnerable. "Good," she says, echoing words from another late-night conversation. "Because you're stuck with me." He kisses her then, tasting like coffee and exhaustion and coming home. When they break apart, She rests her head on his shoulder, and they watch the city lights flicker like grounded stars. This is their normal now. Patching up the broken. Riding out at night to watch over neighborhoods that learned not to trust anyone else. Stolen moments between crises. Coffee at 3 a.m. when neither of them can sleep. His hands gentle on her skin when he checks her fading scars. Her fingers finding his in the darkness. No grand declarations. No dramatic promises about forever. Just this. Them. Working side by side. Building something that matters. Marcus's phone buzzes at 1 a.m. He checks it, and Emma sees his expression shift. That focus that means something's wrong and he's already calculating how to fix it. "What is it?" she asks. Message from an old contact. There's a situation developing in the warehouse district. Young women going missing. Police aren't prioritizing it because the victims are undocumented. His jaw tightens. Sound familiar? It does. Too familiar. The pattern of the system failing the people who need it most. Emma stands, already reaching for her jacket, her own now, not borrowed, leather worn soft from months of night patrols. "So we riding together this time?" Marcus looks at her, and she can see him fighting the urge to protect her, to tell her to stay safe while he handles it alone. But they're past that now. Partners. Equals. His smile breaks through. Always. They head down to the garage together. Two motorcycles sit side by side, his Harley and the Honda Shadow he fixed up for her, the broken muffler replaced with something that purrs instead of rattles. Emma swings her leg over the Shadow, feels the familiar weight of it, the power thrumming between her thighs. She's come so far from that terrified woman who could barely stay upright on this bike. Marcus pulls on his helmet, and she does the same. They don't need to discuss the route or the plan. They've done this enough times now that the choreography is automatic. The garage door rolls up. The city waits beyond it, full of people who need help and systems that will fail them and gaps that Emma and Marcus will fill because someone has to. "Ready?" Marcus asks. Emma grins behind her visor. "Born ready." They ride out into the night, side by side, two headlights cutting through darkness. The engine sounds merge into something larger than either alone, a promise, a threat, a declaration that the forgotten neighborhoods of this city have guardians who won't look away. Behind them, the clinic door stays unlocked. The light stays on. Because there's always someone who needs help. And Emma and Marcus? They'll always be there to provide it. Some stories end with happily ever after. Some stories end with tragedy and loss. This story? This is somewhere in between. Where do you think they go next? What conspiracy are they unraveling in those warehouses? What dangers are waiting in the shadows they're riding toward? Maybe Emma becomes a full paramedic and expands their operation. Maybe Marcus's past catches up with them in ways they haven't anticipated. Maybe the partnership becomes something bigger, a network of people who've been failed by the system, coming together to create their own justice. Or maybe it's simpler than that. Maybe it's just two people who found each other in the worst circumstances and decided to turn that pain into purpose. Coffee at 3 a.m. Stitches and motorcycles and stolen kisses between saving lives. Maybe that's enough. The warehouse district waits. The missing women need finding. And Emma and Marcus disappear into the city night, twin headlights swallowed by darkness, riding toward whatever comes next. Together. Always together.